All right, let's get straight to it. The next few minutes might just completely change how you start your day. We're going to pull back the curtain and look at the very specific habits that the world's most successful people are using while everyone else is still hitting snooze. So if you're ready to see how achievement is really built from the ground up, let's go.
This is the question that cuts through all the noise. What is the actual gap between where you are right now and that life you're trying to build? It's easy to blame things like luck or not knowing the right people, but the real answer? It's usually a lot simpler and way more in your control than you think.
Yep, you heard that right. The entire battle for your day, for your future, is pretty much won or lost in that first hour after you wake up. See, success isn't some random lottery ticket. It's the result of running a specific operating system day in and day out, and that whole process kicks off the second your alarm goes off.
And this slide just lays it out perfectly. Every single morning, you have these two paths in front of you. On the left, you've got the reactive path. You hit snooze, you wake up late, you grab your phone, and you immediately start reacting to everyone else's emergencies and agendas. But the path on the right? That's proactive. You rise on your terms. You dominate your time. You create the day you want instead of letting the day happen to you.
Okay, so let's dig into the first block of habits. This is all about one thing: taking immediate and absolute control from the moment you get out of bed. This is how you win the day before most people have even entered the race.
First up, rise early. It's not about punishing yourself. It's a strategic move. High performers are literally banking hours of quiet, focused work while their competition is asleep. Second, immediate hygiene. Just the act of showering and getting dressed properly is a massive psychological trigger. It sends a signal to your own brain and to everyone else that you mean business. And third, organize your space. A clear desk, a made bed, it's not just about being tidy. It's about reducing the mental clutter so you can operate with this calm, focused efficiency. So once your external world is in order, the next move is to get your internal world right. The elite get this one simple fact: their output, their performance, is a direct reflection of their inputs, what they put into their body, and what they allow into their brain. So here's the deal. You have to protect your body. Think of it like the central engine of your entire empire. It needs premium fuel, not garbage. Then you have to protect your brain. That means refusing to get sucked into the negative, reactive cycle of morning news or scrolling through social media. And what do you do with that time instead? You actively feed your mind. You read books, articles, things that give you new ideas you can actually use. All right, this next part is where we really get into the weeds of strategy. It's about how you turn all those good inputs into real, tangible results. You have to understand, success is not an accident. It's an engineered process. And that whole process starts with a clear mind and a very clear mission for the day. Now, what's so powerful here is how these habits stack on top of each other. It all starts with introspection. Maybe that's meditation, maybe it's journaling, to just clear out all the mental junk and start fresh. From that place of clarity, you can set real, smart goals. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. That gives you a concrete mission for the day. And once you have that mission, it becomes incredibly easy to prioritize ruthlessly and just cut out all the low-value stuff. And all of this leads to one of the most powerful concepts they use, the 80-20 rule, also known as the Pareto principle. They understand with ice-cold clarity that 80% of their results are going to come from just 20% of their actions. So their entire morning is designed to identify that critical 20% and attack it with everything they've got. And this right here is such a critical distinction. It is so easy to be busy. You can fill your whole morning with answering emails, sitting in meetings, creating the illusion of work. But the truly successful know the difference between just being in motion and actually making progress. They focus their energy on what are called needle-moving tasks. That's it. These are the actions that directly lead to closing a deal, launching a product, generating revenue, things that create a real, tangible result. They don't just do things, they do the things that actually count. And to make sure those needle-moving tasks get done right, they completely reject the myth of multitasking. Look, the science on this is clear. Your brain doesn't actually multitask. It just switches focus back and forth really, really fast. And every switch degrades the quality of your work. The absolute best work, the genius-level stuff, comes from deep, uninterrupted, singular focus. So we've talked a lot about the actions, the what to do, but these last few habits, they're about something much deeper. They're about your identity. This is where you shift from being someone who does successful things to being someone who is a successful person.
down to their core.
Okay, so let's break these down. Habit 13 is about constantly building new skills. Every morning, the elite invest time in learning something new. Why? Because a new skill is a permanent upgrade to your brain. No one can ever take that away from you. Then there's habit 15, curating your network, because your net worth really is tied to your network. But you know what? Before we even get to that, we have to talk about the one single trait that makes all of this possible.
And that trait is habit 14, discipline. This quote just says it all, doesn't it? Wealth doesn't care if you're motivated today. The elite do not rely on a feeling that comes and goes. Discipline is the system. It's the engine that forces you to execute day in and day out, especially on the days you don't feel like it. And it's only with that discipline that you can effectively execute habit 15, strategically building your network. You seek out people who are ambitious, and you actively avoid negativity.
And hey, because you stuck with us through this whole brutal marathon of truths, we've got one final bonus habit for you. This is the mindset shift that truly separates the good from the great, the millionaires from the billionaires. The ultimate secret habit is to operate with what feels like irrational ambition. Look, society tells us to set realistic goals so we don't get disappointed. But the elite, they set targets that are so massive, so scary, that even if they fail, their failure is way beyond what most people would consider a wild success. Your new target isn't 10% better, it's 10 times better. That's 1,000% improvement.
So if this all made sense to you, if you felt something click, and you're ready to actually install this new operating system in your own life, then this word is for you. It's Portuguese for invincible. And it's more than just a word. It's a declaration. It's a statement that your commitment to this new way of being has officially crossed the point of no return. You're no longer hoping for success. You are engineering it.